Radio Cardiff.
98.7 FM.
Hi, this is Nasser from Frankie Goes to Hollywood. You're listening to Jane Morris on The Friday Show on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Okay then, well, have we got Derek there now?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. I can see you as well. That's amazing.
At last.
I know. Well, we got there in the end, didn't we? I tell you what, I'm going to put your single play. We're going to play that in the background. Actually, 100 Numbers. I did play it a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, I could hear it. Yeah, you're getting me excited with all the Friday tunes.
I know. Well, I did. I tell you what, I love that it's Friday. It is totally the Friday buzz, isn't it? And the video that you do for it, it looks like you're having a fantastic time there.
Yeah, it's one of the crowd favourites, I suppose, at the gigs, and especially especially tonight, especially Friday gigs. It really goes. We open the show with it every night, so it really gets the crowd going,
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about 100 Numbers, because you do write most of your own music, don't you?
Yeah, 100 Numbers. I suppose, going back, I was living in London. I lived in London for about 7 years altogether, and around the time I wrote 100 Numbers. I'm back in Ireland now, but around the time I was living there, and I suppose I had a great social life. I had lots of friends, or whatever, but I was still kind of missing home, and I suppose my music career wasn't going the way I wanted it to go, really. So I was a bit down on myself, and so that's where 100 Numbers came from. I suppose having all these numbers in your phone and having all these Facebook friends and Twitter followers, but at the end of the day, you just kind of, I suppose you wanted the regularity and the normality of home, so eventually I did move home.
yeah, because well, we are speaking to you from, where are you actually at the moment? I know you're in Ireland.
I'm at home in my little studio here in Carlow in my house, and it's in the southeast of Ireland, so not too far away from Cardiff, I have to say.
No. Actually, I know when you're down in West Wales, you can pick up the Irish radio stations better than the Welsh ones. So I have listened to a bit of Irish music, maybe last year on holiday. Yeah. It's not the kind of thing we usually play here on Radio Cardiff, but I just really like the vibe and the coming from the single.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for making an exception.
That's all right.
It's a kind of a crossover, I suppose, between pop and country. I'm into a lot of different genres. I grew up listening to country music, so it comes very, very natural to me. And like Garth Brooks, Keith Urban, and then the older guys like Johnny Cash and Kenny Rogers and all that type of thing. So, but then obviously I was in a boy band as well, and that kind of gave me pop influences. And I like everything that's in the charts. Really, a good song is a good song in my opinion. So I'm glad that 100 Numbers kind of makes that crossover, and it seems to be going down well, so we're very, very happy with it.
Yeah, well, I totally agree with you on that, though. A good song's a good song, whatever the genre and whenever it is, really. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your early pop career, because you were in a boy band from, the age of 17?
I was, yeah. We got together in Dublin when I was just about 17, and I had one more year to do in school. And I remember I finished all my exams, and I hopped on a plane. Basically, right after my physics exam, I hopped on a plane, and we all moved to London. And luckily, we got signed to Warner Music, which was a big deal, I suppose. And we did all the big arena tours and all the big shows like Top of the Pops and all the big TV shows. And we toured Germany, Sweden, #1 in Japan, and we recorded in the US quite a lot. So it was a bit of a roller coaster, but it was an amazing experience, living the kind of rock and roll lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, I bet, especially, I guess most of your contemporaries were still in school, finishing off their exams and maybe looking to, I don't know, find work, go to university, that kind of thing. Yet you're living the rock and roll lifestyle.
That's it. Yeah, all my friends went off to college, and in a way, I suppose afterwards, believe it or not, I was kind of envious of them, because college life is pretty cool as well, if you make the most of it. And eventually I did go back to college actually after the band, and but I was still kind of gigging locally in London, and that's around the time that I wrote a lot of my songs. And when I moved back then, I was lucky enough to release my own country album, and it just took off from there really in Ireland. And now we're onto Country Soul, which is I hope that's what you have in your possession. And
Yep, I do.
Yeah, what numbers? So
Yeah.
it's been a long road.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Irish country music. I mean, how would you define it?
You know, there is an influence of American country in there, you know, but Irish country kind of has its own thing going on as well. It's you know, I write a lot of my original stuff as well, so you know, and I don't sing with a twang, you know, of like you know, an American kind of. We don't wear cowboy hats, and so it is different, but it crosses over to folk, and you know, like the success of Mumford and Sons recently as well, all that type of thing. So it's a mixture really. Like our show would contain a lot of charts, a lot of country, a lot of traditional Irish music as well, and so it's kind of there's something for everyone there, you know.
Because you actually do traditional drumming as well. You actually won a couple of All Ireland titles.
Yeah, I did. There's a competition here called the All Ireland Flacciole, and it's when you know, when you're young, you go to your local Flacciole association, and you learn how to play. You pick your instrument and you go and learn how to play something. And I learned the bowron, which is an Irish drum, and also some Cayley drumming. And luckily, I won All Ireland titles in both. And then I retired. I retired early.
I see.
I won my drumming when I was 15, and like under 18, and I just retired. I was like, well, I've hit the top, so I think I'm gonna go out on a high. You know?
So you don't play them anymore?
Not really. No, I took up the guitar when I was about 13, and that really helped me with my songwriting especially, and it kind of took me in a different direction. And I love listening to Irish music, I really do. You know, but I'm more, I suppose, of a singer, and I love my country, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned you did go back to college. I mean, you could have been an accountant, couldn't you?
Yeah, I did. I actually put off a place in university initially to move to London, you know, so everything was in place for me. I was quite academic, and I enjoyed accountancy especially, but it you know, I've completed about 4 years in college now, you know, and I still haven't nothing to show for it. I must be the first in the world. But it was good crack, and it really is coming back to help me now, you know, because obviously we have our own, you know, our own company and our own business as such, as well as the creative side of things. So it's nice to have a meeting with the accountant and know exactly what he's talking about.
I bet. Yeah, we can all do with a good accountant, can't we?
That's it. I know it sounds pretty boring. You know, people go, "What? You're in a pop band and you're touring with a country band, and now you're into accountancy." Like, it just doesn't make sense, you know?
No. Well, that's kind of it's one of those questions, isn't it, where they have the follow up or whatever happened to, and you kind of don't expect someone from a boy band to go off and study to be an accountant, really.
Yeah, I suppose it's just the influence of my mum and dad. And my dad worked as a legal executive, and he just always told me, you know, look, music is fantastic and music is great, but I suppose get your education as well, and you never know when you might need it. And it was wise words, really. You know, he made me finish. The band did fit, you know, at the start a year before I finished school, so it was good advice to get my leaving cert, as we call it. I think you have A levels, and you know, so, and I did use it, and you know, I think in any walk of life, no matter, it's good to have a business head on you as well, you know, so it won't go astray.
Excellent. You've been pretty lucky though, because your parents have been very supportive of you all the way through, haven't they?
They have, yeah. I mean, as I said, we did grow up with music, and my dad sings as well, and you know, so every Sunday it was like a ritual, really. We'd go to mass, and then we'd go down to we'd play a lot of handball. We'd a local handball club, and then we'd come back, have dinner and play music for about an hour or two, you know, all of us in the family. And it sounds like the Waltons, I know, but it's true. Or like The Sound of Music or something, but no, it really was. We played and we enjoyed it, and we spent so much time like listening to music and playing it when we were younger. But that's where it comes from. It's I'm very privileged to do what I do for a living, you know, and I'll never ever forget that, you know, because at the end of the day, I know I did study accountancy, but I don't think I'd be able to stay in the one place, the one office, you know, from 9 to 5. I think
No.
I like my traveling. I like meeting different.
Yeah. So are you on tour at the moment?
I mean, what, sorry?
Are you on tour at the moment?
Yeah, we are. We're kind of always on tour, really. You know, we do a lot of country dances here in Ireland. Then we had a big concert tour last year, and we're actually starting this year with our concerts next week. So with a brand new show. So we are constantly touring, and we're heading to Australia in September as well for some shows, and the UK as well this year. So it's all building up. And as I say, Ireland's been very, very successful. Country Soul, our last album, went in the top 10 in the charts, and number 1 in the iTunes country chart as well. So we're just building and taking it further afield to places like Cardiff.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at your where you're going on tour. You haven't actually been to Wales yet, have you?
We haven't actually. No, we haven't.
No,
so
considering we're so close, yes.
You'll want permission there next,
Absolutely. Well, it's not that far on the ferry or whatever, is it?
It actually, from where I live, like I'm only about an hour from the port and to Rosslare.
Yeah.
We used to actually go to Wales every year on holidays. We used to go to Tenby.
Oh yes,
So,
know it well.
I know Wales very, very well. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So maybe now we've introduced our listeners to yourself and Irish country music. Maybe they'll want to come and see you.
That's it. And if anyone wants to follow me, I might as well get the plug in. But
definitely.
I'm at Derek Ryan Music, at Derek Ryan Music for Twitter, and also there's a Derek Ryan Music fan club page on Facebook as well. So
okay.
There's loads.
Right. I don't know. Do you want to pick a track from your album for me to finish on, or shall I?
It's up to you. I don't mind really. Have you got the Country Soul album, the latest album?
Yeah, that's the one I've got here. Yes.
Yeah, maybe something like Dancing in the Moonlight. It has that hint, I suppose, of American country as well. It's one that I wrote myself.
Oh, right.
Original. So, yeah, you can hear the kind of American influence there.
Okay. I think we might have had that playing in the background, actually.
Right.
Do you know what? I actually quite like Raggle Taggle Gypsy.
Oh, yeah, go with that. Nice and lively.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's it. You've got to get in the mood for a party, haven't you?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So, actually, I'll tell you what, if I stop that for a second so I can get the right track. Right. So, do you want to, before we say goodbye, do you want to tell the listeners again how they can follow you, find out more about you, where they can get the album from? Anything else they want to know?
Well, basically, my website is derekcrymusic.com, and that has all the details. Really, you can buy the album there. We have a DVD out as well of a live show, and you can then the Twitter as well at Derek Ryan Music, and also Facebook Derek Ryan Music page as well. So, lots of ways, but the main hub, I suppose, is the website, and also my record company sharpmusic.com as well has the records. So. Yeah, and on iTunes as well. I forgot. Yeah,
You're everywhere. You're everywhere.
Taking over.
Yeah,
Taking over.
And I would recommend, if you want to have a smile put on your face, just check out some of the videos like the 100 Numbers or It's Friday. It puts a smile on your face just watching it, doesn't it?
Oh, that's it. And country music, a lot of the songs just get your foot tapping, and I always think. Everyone, secretly loves a little bit of country, so, and then there's some of us who just love it, love all of it. But,
yeah.
I think everyone likes a certain amount of it. So definitely check it out if you can.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Okay. And if you ever come to Wales, give us a shout, okay?
We will indeed. Thanks, Jane.
Okay. Bye-bye.